Wow. Alright. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I'll get into that in a minute. Big surprise, in my opinion, dropping this morning. Still morning for me where I am. But Vanity Fair is sharing, included with an article, exclusive new pictures of Jared Leto's Joker and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Of course, we got the teaser from Zack Snyder recently with the Joker card, and it was very blurred and distorted in the background, so we couldn't really see exactly what he looked like. We know already, based off of previous interviews and with Grace Randolph and with other stuff coming out, that his Joker was going to have a very different look in this movie compared to how we saw him in Suicide Squad. But I honestly, and I said this several times, I really didn't think we would see completely what he is going to look like until the movie comes out. And especially when Zack shared that teaser picture, I thought that that was all we were going to get as far as like seeing him. But apparently not. So, oh my god, he looks so very different. He looks, and then even the article goes into kind of how he's involved in the movie, which I think a lot of our predictions are going to be kind of true based on what the description is, and I'll get into that in a minute. But holy moly, like he was being described as, you know, road weary, scarier, grittier. This is all of that. He looks terrifying, in my opinion. He looks so scary. He looks very different from Suicide Squad. So the first picture, there's a picture where, okay, it's in the same setting that we got the teaser picture in. It's like a bunker type of underground situation. Similar to what we saw in the Knightmare sequence, right? And the Batman picture that was also released that Zack shared the next day. He's sitting there. He has like surgical garb on that's very tattered and dirty and probably bloody, and he has like scars on his face, and his red is very smeared and messy compared to in Suicide Squad when it's a lot more like a lipstick type of application. His hair is long. His eyes are, there's dark around his eyes. Oh my gosh. And then there's another picture. I think that one's at the top of the article. Yeah, more close up in his face, right in his face. And that's where you can see more of like the scars and marks on his face, the black eye makeup. His lips are really smeared. He has his fingers up in front of him, kind of similar to the teaser picture that we got that was blurry, where he's holding the Joker card. The same Joker card that we saw in the flyby in the opening of the teaser in the Knightmare, and then as well as it's on Batman's gun as well in the Knightmare sequence. So let's get into kind of what the article is talking about. There's some quotes from Zack as well. So, obviously, this is the Joker as he appears in Zack Snyder's Justice League, in a new Justice League, an entirely new element the filmmaker decided to add as he completed his original vision of the DC Comics team-up. I like how it says that, completed his original vision. So again, it was not part of of Zack's original plan before he left the movie in 2017. But when he was offered, it says, to finalize his own cut of the movie, he had a few things in mind he wanted to add. Batman's nemesis was one of them. Zack says, the Joker is really the only thing that I thought of in retrospect. But I will say that it was always my intention to bring Joker into that world. So Zack had kind of talked about that before on one of the streams he did with Dave the Film Junkie, that Joker was not part of the original plan back when he was shooting the movie in 2016, but it was always his intention to, at some point, bring in, you know, Jared Leto's Joker, and for Ben Affleck's Batman and his Joker to cross paths at some point. So now this was his chance, and it made sense for him to do that now. Again, it says when he first started working on these films a decade ago, Zack thought he would eventually bring the villain into conflict with Batman in a later project, But after the falling out with the studio, he realized that probably would never happen. So instead, now when he was given this opportunity, he asked for additional photography to fit Joker into the 4-hour event. Of course, it mentions the release date, March 18th. So he's like, if I don't ever get a chance to do this in a future project, I'm doing it now when I get to finish my original vision. I get, if I can get some additional photography. So it goes on to talk about, the only real rule about depicting Joker on screen is that you have to put your own twist on the monster, which I like that point in the article. Variation is not just allowed but expected. Yeah, of course. Like anytime Joker is done in a movie, it's expected that there's going to be something, he's going to be a new version compared to what we've seen before in live action on the big screen. So in this case, it says, Snyder chose to cast his Joker as Leto, who played the part in an entirely different form in David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So yeah, very, very different. He doesn't have all the tattoos. You can't see his teeth. No, you can't see his teeth, but I'm guessing based on what we've heard before, that he's also not going to have the diamond, the diamond teeth either, which doesn't look like it would match this version of him anyway. It matched the other tatted up, gangster mob style that we got in Suicide Squad, but not this. So it says, gone are the face tattoos, slick back emerald undercut hairstyle, replaced by a visage that looks like a creature who crawled out of the basement of a long-abandoned insane asylum. Maybe he did. He looks, yeah, that's a great description. So he's wearing a hospital gown, surgical mask. The director says is probably a remnant of his escape into the wild when the world fell. Referring to Knightmare. In some of his Justice League scenes, Leto's Joker also sports a bulletproof vest festooned with grimy law enforcement badges. He has tons of badges, Snyder said. Those are his trophies. So we don't see those pictures here in the article, but just as a hint or a description of other looks that he will have in the movie, aside from this surgical gown. So here's a spoiler warning for how Jared Leto's Joker is going to appear in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So spoiler warning, if you don't want to know any more details about his scene or his footage, how he's going to be incorporated, then this is a spoiler. Just warning you, okay? Okay. Spoiler warning. Joker appears in the new film during a sequence set on a ruined Earth after the alien tyrant Darkseid invades and decimates the planet. Knightmare. It's a dream sequence, a psychic vision experienced by Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne that reveals what will happen if the superheroes fail to stop the onslaught. Joker is sort of the ghost of Christmas yet to come, supplying motivation through terror. Oh my god. Here's what Zack says. The cool thing about the scene is that it's Joker talking directly to Batman about Batman. It's Joker analyzing Batman about who he is and what he is. That's the thing I also felt like fans deserved from the DC Universe. That is to say, the Jared Leto Joker and the Ben Affleck Batman, they never really got together. It seemed uncool to me that we would make it all the way through this incarnation of Batman and Joker without seeing them come together. Snyder had already a history devised in his head, so even though he wasn't part of the original plan when they were back, shooting a few years ago, he kind of already had a plan of how he would like to eventually include him. Zack said the scene explains why Bruce had the Joker card taped to his gun that you see in Batman v Superman. Which also hinted that the Joker murdered the Caped Crusader's sidekick by showing the absent Robin's armor. Yes, so we've seen Robin's armor. Okay. So we're going to get an explanation of why Batman has that Joker card on his gun in BVS. He said, I'd always wanted to explore the death of Robin, and if there was ever going to be a next movie, which of course there probably won't be, I wanted to do a thing where in flashbacks we learn how Robin died. Oh my god! How Joker killed him and burned down Wayne Manor, and that whole thing that happened between he and Bruce. Oh my gosh. So it looks like we are going to get stuff like that. That's what it sounds like. Oh my gosh. Okay. The director's plan was to show how they became like this, how he hurt him in a way that no one has really. Other than losing his parents, it was probably the most significant personal injury to his life. And that's also a quote from Zack. So, yeah, that's the the role this new Joker sequence will fulfill, but those seeking continuity may have questions about what happened since we last saw this Joker in Ayer's film. Is there tattoo removal in the apocalypse? Zack said, I would say that there's been some water under the bridge. Who knows what's happened? I don't know if he's wearing makeup. I don't know what's happening. It's hard to say exactly. So it goes on to say you can interpret that to mean Snyder just liked it better this way. And of course, his version of Justice League will exist on its own, making use of some material from other DC movies, but standing alone as kind of Elseworld's tale. As Joker might advise, just roll with the chaos. So this is just the version that Zack wanted to use. This is what Zack had in his mind of how he wanted to depict Joker, Jared Leto's Joker. Jared Leto has nothing but good things to say about Zack recently, in pretty much every interview that he's done and press event he's done for The Little Things, which he was also great in. And, I mean, again, I'm surprised that we're getting this close-up look at how he looks in the movie. But from, I guess, being in the fandom and kind of knowing a lot of this stuff that's gone on over the past few years and knowing more in depth what has transpired and why we're getting Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it's more of, I wouldn't say a spoiler, but it's something that I was not expecting until the movie came out. But from a marketing standpoint, to kind of grab in the wider audience outside of, you know, just the intimate fandom, I can understand why they would put this out there, especially on, like, you know, a trade that has such a wide audience and a big reach, you know, Vanity Fair. So I can understand, you know, why they're explaining, because Ryan from Zeverfett last night he joined me on my live stream last night, if you were able to catch it, and we were kind of talking about one of the struggles with Zack Snyder's Justice League, and especially from a marketing standpoint, is that there's a lot of education required for a casual viewer and the wider audience outside of the fandom. You know, what is Zack Snyder's Justice League? Why is it different? Or how is it different? Is it different from the theatrical version? You know, why am I gonna watch a 4-hour version of a 2-hour version I wasn't crazy about? Is it just, you know, oh, I saw the same shot of Steppenwolf in the trailer landing in Themyscira, but he looks different? Is it just, you know what I mean? So how is it entirely different? It requires a lot of, like, information and background to explain and to grab in people that are not as aware of what has happened and why we're getting this movie, why it's different, how it's different, why it's 4 hours. You know, why does Jared Leto's Joker look different in this movie? Even though it's set in, like, even though it is going to take place in the sequence that we expected, why does he still look different if he exists in the same universe? You know, I guess you could say Batman looks different somewhat. He has a trench coat and, you know, guns and stuff like that. But why does he look vastly different from Suicide Squad, you know? So I think this version of the Joker, if you're going to put him in this sequence of the film, his look makes a lot more sense than what we saw in Suicide Squad. I did not mind his look in Suicide Squad. I thought that his look in that movie made sense for that movie. You know, for the kind of Joker that he was playing. He was like a mob boss, gangster, that kind of thing. And it fit him. And I thought, you know, we didn't really get to see enough of him in that, of Jared Leto. And I cannot wait to see what he does with this look, because I feel like he's going to really, like, go there and push it with this. I'm shocked. So from a marketing standpoint, I understand why they put these pictures out there, why they kind of had to give a spoiler warning and explain how his character is going to be involved in the movie. So I get it. I understand. And, you know, if they feel like if Zack feels like this is kind of the best way to attract more people, or, you know, if he just, you know, wants to put out there what his movie is and how it's different and why it's completely different from the theatrical version, then I'm here for it. I know that, you know, it's kind of like a catch-22, because we don't want to get spoiled because we've been waiting so long to see it. But then at the same time, we've been waiting so long to see it. So we want to see what I mean? Like, we want to see more. But for them to market it, they kind of have to put more out there than they probably would have with a normal situation of a movie being released, where you wouldn't really put this much information out there ahead of the release because, again, it's kind of a spoiler in a way. But since there is a lot of education required behind it, and Zack really, in order to show how different it is, you kind of have to put stuff that's never been seen or heard of before out there in order to show how different it is. So, yeah. But wow. Wow, wow, wow. And it looks like maybe we're going to get some of those flashbacks that we're hoping for. I mean, that's kind of what I interpreted from Zack's talk about that, from that quote. That's what he always wanted to explore. And like he said, he's not expecting at this time to maybe continue his Snyderverse, as it's been come to call. I had to wear my Snyderverse shirt today. You can follow the link in my description to get your own. I can see where Zack is going with this. I know that we want it to continue, but from Zack's perspective, for him, he's like, if this is my last chance, I'm going to put what I can into this movie. And if I don't ever get to explore this other stuff that I wanted to from the beginning, I'm going to put it now. So I'm glad he's doing that. I'm glad he's doing that. This was his chance and he took it. So I'm glad. I'm happy. And I can't wait to see it. Trailer drops this Sunday, the 14th, 9:14 a.m. Pacific time. I can't wait to do a trailer reaction for it and hear you guys' feedback on that as well. If you missed any of the other, Zack has been sharing stuff. I expect this to continue until the trailer comes out this weekend. If you missed any other videos, I'm sorry, about what Zack has shared or the live stream from last night, you can check that out on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at SuperHiveDC and on Instagram, Brooks_Hive. And again, the link for my merch is in the description, as well as a link for the Autumn Snyder AFSP fund. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.